Welcome back to The Oddity Shop, the podcast where we tell you creepy, odd, weird, strange, and bizarre stories from around the world.
I'm your curator, Kara, and this is your curator, Zachary, and that was the fourth time he tried to do an intro.
The fourth time I did our intro. I don't know what's wrong with me. We took a long break. We've had a very long evening, the two of us doing stuff not even related to the podcast, but we've been pulling our hair out. And what is new with you, Kara?
Well, there's so much new because we haven't recorded in so long.
I know. Okay, why did we take a summer break in case people don't know?
Well, you just cut me off. I was going to say my most important new thing is that I have a baby nephew that I got to go see. Cute. He's the cutest thing in the entire world. So Zach took time off because he moved and had a bunch of stuff to do. I took some time off because I needed to go meet my little nephew, and I didn't want to care about anything else.
She didn't even talk to me for 14 days.
I didn't.
Is that what we decided was she was talking to her husband. She's like, I haven't talked to Zach in 14 days. He's like, you haven't talked to me in 14 days. But we decided that number just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't know where the 14 days came from, but
no,
it was
not calculated.
It was 9 days or something like that. But anyway, yeah, so we just took a little break.
It was great. I'm finally got my car back to Arizona. I'm settled. It is 118 today and I'm not dying.
Wow.
Yeah. We finally had a little quick adventure too. We got up to the mountains, which I realized pine forest mountains with free range crystals in creek beds. It's only 2 hours away, not even. So I'm really excited about that because it is also 30 degrees cooler there.
Oh, wow. And it only took you 30 minutes?
About an hour 45.
I don't know where I got that from.
I don't know either.
Wasn't listening.
I know. So yeah, that's the real short story of what's been new with me. I also did get to see my family for 4th of July, so that was really great.
How many hot dogs did you eat this year?
Not many. It was bad. It was bad. But we also had lost power, and the flights getting home got a little bit messed up because somebody slept through their flight. Me.
Which was wild.
And I don't want to talk about that anymore. Okay, what about you?
I don't even know what else since, other than Declan.
You just got baby brain.
That's my baby. I miss him so much. I miss him literally the second I got dropped off at the airport. I was like, I need that baby back. I need him.
He is very cute.
Yeah, just trying to do some summer things, and summer's almost over. It's over when we're listening to that, or when,
Yeah, when this comes out, it's pretty close to over. God, I hate that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, should we get into some shop talk?
I think we shall.
We have some pretty big shop talk today. And Kara and I have been talking, and we made some decisions when we are not going anywhere, but we're going to be here a little bit less.
Yeah.
So for the foreseeable future, we are going to be going down to 2 episodes a month in place of our 4. We're still going to have our Reddits on Patreon. We're still going to be active on there. We realized at some point we weren't having as much fun doing this when it was taking all of our free time.
Yeah. And now with our time difference with each other is 3 hours difference. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot when we're trying to plan and coordinate our lives and time to talk and chat and record. And, it's just not fun anymore, and it's not fair to us, to you guys.
So we're gonna do less episodes, but I think we're gonna be able to pour more energy into it. We're gonna take more time for ourselves to rest because we had done this for 3 years straight.
Yeah, and I have, before Zach and I even talked about this, my talk shop for you guys this episode was going to be hey, I'm really sorry because I've dropped the ball. I have not posted on our Patreon in the whole month of June. I don't think I posted anything, and majority of July. Because I've just had a lot of anxiety and things going on, and I'm I just dropped the ball, and so I don't want to feel like that anymore. Zach doesn't want to feel like he's always editing on his time, and
we love this. We love this thing.
We want to keep loving it,
but we want to get back to loving it, so we stay around for a long. It's quality over quantity, right? at the end of the day, and we're gonna take a little more care of ourselves and come back more refreshed.
And I think that once we do this for a little bit, and it gets funner when it gets to the way that it used to be, and maybe now that we've started adding, we added a lot more stuff, right? We did all the Patreon, and then we the TikToks I fell off on, but we've added a lot more stuff. But I think that once we can go down to this, get back into some sort of rhythm or routine, you figure out your life there to coordinate with my life here, I think that we could get back to more episodes. But for now,
we don't want to burn out.
No. And for a minute, we were both like, we don't ever want to come back from this hiatus. And we don't want that. So
no.
Hopefully no one's mad at us. But either way, sorry.
You can let us know if you are, but it's how it's going to be. Okay. That's what we got for Shop Talk. We'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on it. But otherwise, do you have a question for me so we can open?
I do have a question, but it is a little bit, I got a disclaimer and stuff to say first, and then I have a question.
Oh, no. Okay.
Well, okay. You know, we got to come back with a bang, I guess. Just kidding. It's not that serious. Okay. So before we get started, like a little content warning, today's episode discusses psychosis, hallucinations, delusions, and real cases involving unaliving or like violence of that nature. And so as always, our goal is to educate, not to sensationalize. So I don't want anyone to think that that's what this is. So if this really doesn't sound like an episode for you today, I get it. That's fine. You can drop out. I understand. Okay.
Question.
Yeah, hold on. Do I have
it? Asking me if you have a question does not count. No, because I
started reading through and I was like, where's my question? Okay, so while researching this episode, this is the question I kept coming back to. And so I'm going to ask it to you.
Cool.
How do we tell the difference between a genuine spiritual experience or psychosis?
How do I answer that in the length of not an episode? You know what? Actually, no.
How would you? Like, if somebody were to be like, I had like this, you know.
I can answer this easily and quickly.
Okay.
I'm not trained enough to answer that. I couldn't, beyond a shadow of a doubt, prove that to you. Okay. I couldn't.
I know. So when somebody's telling you, like, Jesus spoke to me, are you thinking that Jesus really spoke to them? Or are you more thinking that they're like hallucinating? Or like in a psychosis?
That would to me be a trigger for me to think it's a mental health episode.
Okay. Yeah. And I think that's kind of like what a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of us, but a lot of people are like, oh, that seems like not normal or whatever. So I feel like there's so many different cases like that where, and not even just like saw God or whatever, people could spin it to the paranormal too and think that they're not mentally well either.
I feel like that's one. A lot of times, and I don't know where in the paranormal you're going with this, but in the case of
I'm not going paranormal.
Abductions, okay. In the case of alien abduction stories, right? Like, I feel like many of them that I hear about sound more like a mental health crisis than a true abduction.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where I don't know why it always. So anyway, this just kind of came to me. So I know it's not typical, but it still could be tied into all the other things that we talk about. So anyway, people have obviously been asking this for centuries, and the answer kind of depends on entirely who you ask. So a psychiatrist looks at hallucinations, delusions, like sleep patterns, and overall behavior.
Okay.
But maybe a religious leader would ask whether the experience aligns with faith and leads to compassion or healing, where a paranormal investigator probably wonders if there's an entirely different explanation, right? So the uncomfortable reality is that from the outside, they can look remarkably similar.
Yes.
So could there be experiences that science like doesn't fully understand yet? Maybe, obviously. Absolutely. Like we're already... Okay, so that was kind of my disclaimer or question. Okay, are you ready?
I am ready.
Imagine waking up tomorrow.
I would like to.
You feel incredible, not sick. You're just like enlightened. You're just feeling the greatest you've ever felt. You feel like you finally figured out a secret that everyone else has missed. Okay, so you make your coffee, the TV news anchor looks at the camera, and you know that they're speaking directly to you, okay?
This sounds like mania.
On your commute, every license plate has the same number, every billboard holds a hidden meaning, and every song on the radio was written specifically about your life, okay?
Okay.
A stranger smiles at you, and it's not politeness, it's a sign, Zachary. And by the end of the day, you are absolutely convinced that God has chosen you for a divine mission. And you don't just hope it's true, you know it is. When your family asks if you're okay, you tell them they're the ones who are blind to the truth.
Oh,
okay.
Gosh. Okay.
So psychosis is a symptom and it's not a standalone diagnosis, which I don't know if a lot of people actually know that.
Yeah, because it would be like how the actual illness is
so it's
showing.
If you think of a fever, that's what tells you something's wrong, but it doesn't tell you why.
Right. It doesn't tell you like what parasite in your body
is. What's causing it.
To put it in Michigan terms, right? Parasite in your body is making you have explosive diarrhea.
Yeah, now apparently it's eggs.
Oh gosh.
Something about eggs.
I thought it was lettuce.
Yeah, now it's eggs. Is what I heard. I don't know. Okay, so
Back
it can be
psychosis.
Yeah, so it can be triggered like by schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, major depression, brain injuries, substance abuse, or even extreme sleep deprivation. So ultimately, it means something has interpreted the brain's ability to accurately interpret reality.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So we usually break this down into a couple distinct things. So hallucinations, which, are sensory experiences that feel entirely real. So hearing voices, seeing things that aren't there, feeling or being touched or something near you. Delusions. So those are like fixed, unshakable beliefs maintained despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. And someone might believe they are being watched. Like we hear a lot of people say like the government implanted a chip in them, or like you were just saying like alien abductions, like
their phone got hacked.
Yeah. Yes. Or they may have been chosen by a higher power. And so religious psychosis occurs when these hallucinations or delusions revolve around obviously spiritual themes. And I feel like that we just like hear that a lot. It's
either the feds are after me or God talked to me. So it would be like the top two.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, someone might believe that they are receiving direct commands from God, or that they are a prophet or an angel or the Messiah. Every coincidence becomes that divine experience. And interestingly, psychosis usually reflects a person's existing world.
Okay.
So the brain doesn't just like kind of randomly tell stories. It pulls from familiar, deeper, meaningful concepts. So like religion, family, politics, or personal fears, which makes sense to what you just said. Yeah.
It's not like a whole brand new idea. It's something, some structure they've already had.
Right. Which does make sense. But like when I was doing that, I was like, wow, I guess I've never thought about it really that way.
Which also kind of helps you show how internal it is.
Correct.
And more of a happening to the individual instead of happening objectively outside.
Right. So then that kind of raises like that uncomfortable question of like, how do doctors differentiate between a profound religious experience and clinical psychosis?
I mean, even on a smaller level, between I saw a ghost and I have a brain tumor. That's
what I'm saying. And I didn't bring any really paranormal into this because I feel like we talk about that a lot, but this is that same thing. And it's like, it's one of those things where I was like, holy crap, because you and I are like, we believe paranormal, right? But like other people are probably like, these two have a mental issue. They think that they're seeing and hearing spirits and Eloise all the time. Like, what's wrong with them, right? But like,
your husband's probably the first to think that.
I know, but then here we are, this exact same thing.
Right. And we're projecting it onto something else.
We're not believing necessarily what they're saying. And I know it's not the exact same thing, but
it's close enough.
It's one of those things where I feel like we're kind of hypocrites. I mean, everybody is in some sort of way, but like, you get what I mean. That's why I was like, this is so mind blowing to me because I'm like, what?
My eye's already twitching.
I know. Sorry. So is the belief like shared by others in their faith community? Is it causing severe distress or isolation? Has the person stopped eating, sleeping, or like, are they not functioning correctly? Are they acting on commands that put themselves and others in danger? So like, these are all different questions that, you would ask.
Right.
So the intersection of environment and psychology is peacefully illustrated by one of the strangest phenomenons that I've ever heard in psychiatric literature is the Jerusalem syndrome. Have you ever heard of this? You probably have.
I feel like I couldn't give you a definition, but it's like, it sounds familiar enough to me that I've run across it.
Okay. Every year, millions of pilgrims travel to Jerusalem for a spiritual renewal. Okay. But a handful of visitors experience something entirely different. They become overwhelmed by the city's intense historical and religious significance and suddenly step into what they believe is a biblical reality.
Okay. So this is people like on pilgrimage to Mecca.
Yeah. But like, is that much different to the stories that we hear, though, when people are like, I drove down a random street and time warped into like a town from... You get what I mean? Like,
hold on. Here's the question I'll ask. When they leave Jerusalem,
here, I'll keep reading.
Does the phenomenon end?
It depends. I know
if it ends, it would be time slippy to me, but if not,
yeah. Okay. So hospital staff in the city has documented these remarkably consistent behaviors for decades. So tourists separate themselves from their groups and obviously cleanse themselves. They drape themselves in white hotel sheets to mimic biblical robes. They preach to strangers in the streets or attempt public baptisms in fountains. So this is things that have happened over and over again.
Yeah.
Like those specific things, which is just kind of wild.
I don't know why it's funny to me, but like the sheets being consistent, right? I can see the
That's
baptism,
what I'm saying. It's so
we're
funny
all using the sheets.
That they just steal the sheets. So in 1969, an Australian tourist arrived convinced he was the biblical figure Samson, attempting to move the massive stones of the Western Wall before police intervened.
How many stones did he move?
I don't think he moved any.
Because if stones were moved, I think that would help.
Okay. So another visitor believed he was John the Baptist preaching repentance in the surrounding wilderness. Those are just a couple. Experts still debate whether Jerusalem syndrome is its own unique condition. Most psychiatrists agree the city itself doesn't create the quote unquote illness. Rather, it acts as a spark, shaping the symptoms of individuals who are already vulnerable to psychosis. Gotcha. But it's like, don't you think that's strange that hundreds and whatever people get there, quote unquote, normal or okay until they get there. And then like something switches. Like I understand that can happen to anybody at any moment where you just go through a break. You know what I mean? Or
but for so many people to have the exact same break
and be like, hey, Zach, are you running low on spiritual supplies?
Hey, Kara, are you looking for a place with handmade items?
Yeah, we should probably go to Mystic Moons.
Oh, our buddies?
Yeah.
They make the most wonderful hand-dipped incense with over 24 scents, and we've smelled absolutely every single one of them.
Yeah, or maybe you might just be looking for a hand-strung bracelet made with only the best intentions.
And not only do they have the best intentions, they have 4 strings each, and they last forever, which I would know because I've broken every bracelet you've made for me and not theirs.
Oops. Well, they also have simmer pots for every occasion, like San to Yule.
And don't forget, Melinda is also a medium and a tarot card reader who's given us amazing readings, so she's ready to help us or you connect with past loved ones and get to know insights into your world.
My spirit animal is a camel. Thanks, Melinda. Anyway, so look for Mystic Moons on Facebook or Etsy, and then you can restock all your spiritual supplies.
Oh, be sure to check them out at www.etsy.com/shop/Mystic Moons LLC.
Or at Mystic Moons on Facebook. They're all over our socials, so I'm sure you'll find them.
So go get some goodies. Okay, Kara, goodbye.
Bye. I just find it hard to believe, and I guess we could look up a statistic if we really wanted to, like how many people out of so many go experience like psychosis or something like that. To be able to break it down to be like that many people visit Jerusalem and that many people end up triggering their like, do you get what I mean?
Yeah. So one of the things you'd have to look at, right, is it the location itself or is it a heightened state of excitement, right? So then when you're looking at that study, you would also have to look at where other people are triggered. Because is it the location itself or is it the ginormous chemical reaction going on in your head when you're seeing that kind of place? Right.
That's why it's so interesting to me. Because I'm like, what is going on? Okay, so anyway, why does the mind do this? So our brains are weird. They're also, that's not.
Yes.
I meant to say they're wired to recognize patterns to help us navigate life, but they're also weird. So, however, during psychosis, though, the system misfires in a process, like in the process researchers call aberrant salience. I'm totally butchering that.
Salience.
Aberrant. Oh my God. Aberrant salience. So
abhorrent.
Thank you. Aberrant.
Oh.
Aberrant salience.
Aberrant.
Okay. Well.
Okay. I thought I was correcting you, but no.
Okay. So essentially, though, we'll break it down for us dum-dums. The brain begins assigning enormous, urgent importance to completely ordinary things. So a passing comment, a random number, a bird landing nearby, right? It's as if the brain is consistently shouting, pay attention, this matters, which does make sense because then that's what you're like, oh my God. And then you get, I don't know, like excited and overstimulated and like.
Well, and the brain does this at other times too on a smaller level.
Right.
Think about grief, for instance.
Yeah.
You start to look for extraordinary signs in common everyday things.
Yeah. Yeah. So essentially the brain does this to make sense of like these intense feelings. The mind constructs a delusion to connect the dots. So kind of like exactly what you were just saying. So when it's misfiring and getting these triggers of like, pay attention, look at this, then it starts connecting the dots to all of these really insignificant things that then seem huge.
Yeah, that then produce your reality.
Right. So while the vast majority of people experiencing psychosis are completely nonviolent and are actually far more likely to be victims of harm than to be like actually doing the harm or whatever.
Yeah.
Delusions can occasionally lead to, catastrophic outcomes when a person becomes or believes they are, in danger or they're trying to like execute on their divine command. Like something might happen, but typically it's that they're probably the ones that are more in danger. And that makes sense because they're not thinking clearly. So anyway, I do have a couple specific cases, but we can kind of talk a little bit more about anything else that you thought, because I knew we were going to have a discussion. So I didn't want to write too much more other than some cases, and they're very quick ones. So
the way you said it at the beginning, where other people would think, we're absolutely, and I probably shouldn't throw the word crazy around, but think that we're not mentally sane because we like to go to haunted places.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Like, I'm sure people think that.
Yeah. So here's the question though, right? Because what you said is like, they go to the city and all of a sudden they come changed. What about people who go on their first ghost hunt? Right?
Yeah.
Who may have been skeptics. All of a sudden they have an experience and now they're obsessed with
that's what I'm saying.
Ghost hunting
it's like
or paranormal investigating.
It's the same thing.
You did kind of just make my brain flip on that a little bit. I think the thing is your brain is such a survival organ, and it will vastly make some jumps to always solidify what you already believe. It's always looking for that bias, and so it's hard for anyone, unless you are a trained psychiatrist or shrink, right, to like really be able to pinpoint those things and distinguish.
But we've talked about this, and I don't remember what episode it was, but I know that we were talking about schizophrenia or it was we kind of a little bit talked about
it was on the poltergeist sliding episode. I think we were talking about
it might have actually been another one, but we were
okay. It
doesn't matter. The point is that I think we've talked about it quite a bit, because it's like, do we actually think that, and I am not saying that mental illness and diseases and things like that don't exist. That's not what I'm saying. But you and I have dived into it so much where it's like, do we actually think that it is something like, do they get closer to the paranormal? Is it something paranormal? Like, where is it? That's why this, like, where is it?
Can I help you say it differently?
Thank you.
Is schizophrenia really the disorder as we understand it? Or are they perceiving something that's happening all around us that we don't have the typical senses to perceive?
Correct. Thank you. That is what I was trying to say. You're so amazing.
And this would be in the form of like people who have like auditory hallucinations. Auditory hallucinations or visual hallucinations. What we're talking about.
And maybe not schizophrenia alone, but I'm just saying like, because we've also talked about a lot where it's like, older people, when they're close to passing, they say that they see people or they see their loved ones or whatever, or how we talk about little kids that don't know any better because they don't have that bias.
Those who are closer to the veil
are seeing quote unquote ghosts or spirits, whatever. So it's just like, it's very interesting when you think about it that way, because it's like exactly.
I also love how far we've come in this journey, because we're really careful to whether to say ghosts or spirits, or it's just something we don't understand.
Because it is
such a big mental mind flip throughout all of this.
Sure. But that's also why when I started looking, I don't even remember how I found this, that, you know, to come up with this episode.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking about it, and you said it so perfectly. It's like when somebody goes to a haunted house, and we've witnessed it, like where people go and they've never believed.
We were them.
Well, we've always believed. But I mean, we've
proclivity to believe already, but we came out of there going, whoa.
Yeah, but we've actually worked, you know, events and stuff at Eloise where there's been many people, every group we'd be like, hey, is there any skeptics? Yeah, I don't believe she drugged me here. He made me come. And then at the end, they're like, wow, that's actually wild. I can't explain these couple things. Or like, how did that happen?
I want to do it again.
Yeah. And so like, I understand it, because then, and it's not even with this stuff. It's just like, you know how hyper fixated we get on stuff that we're excited about. We research, we do all this stuff. And then all of a sudden you're like, I really want this car. You're researching. And then out and about, you see that car all the time. You never even saw it before.
The Bader-Meinhof phenomenon.
Yeah. But it's kind of like you're getting those signals. And then we take it as a sign. That's the universe telling us
it's the
buy that car.
Misunderstood unconscious brain for sure.
But anyway, you get like, it's just like, okay, so who's to say that somebody that's like really excited about going, you know, to this retreat and to go, they're like already spiritually invested, and they go to Jerusalem and they see all this, and like, yeah, I could see the excitement and the fascination, and like you're just thrilled and it pumped in through you. I could see it.
And where a paradigm shift in your brain might be triggered. Yeah.
But then it's like, I don't know. It's just mind blowing to me.
It is mind blowing.
Do you have anything else you want?
No, I want to hear some of the stories.
Okay. They're not very long, but we can kind of, each one we can kind of talk about. Okay. So Andrea Yates. So this case of Andrea Yates is not a story of evil, but it's really kind of like a heartbreaking example of severe.
We're going to talk about the Andrea Yates.
Literally the smallest little portion.
Okay.
It's basically a heartbreaking example of severe untreated postpartum psychosis. So I don't know if this is the same as what you were thinking. Your face. You can give us a little bit more deeper on it if you'd like.
You go first.
A deeply religious and caring mother of 5 in Texas, Andrea suffered from profound postpartum depression that escalated into psychotic delusions. So she became convinced that Satan was influencing her family and that her children were doomed to damnation. So believing it was the only way to save their souls, she drowned her 5 children in the family bathtub in 2001. And then following treatment and, you know, a realization of what had occurred, she was placed in a psychiatric care rather than prison because it was dubbed, you know, a psychotic break or whatever. But that's like, okay, what?
Horrifying.
What happened that so then you go back to like this stuff stems from beliefs, fear, family raising, like.
She thought she was saving her children.
Right. And she.
One by one in the bathtub.
That Satan was influencing her family, which is so. I didn't go into detail
this
too much
has
with these.
Been one that's actually been on my list for a very long time.
Okay. So then maybe you can cover it.
So dark.
It is really dark. That's.
I don't know if I want to. It is. And it's one of those things where
it's awful
with her receiving the treatment she had. And this is why I've always kind of gone back and forth on it. Like, do we want to, her story is so infamous as it is, you know, like
that's kind of why I didn't deep dive into too much of these, but that one is also just awful. But that's one example of like, it can be bad. Like
it can be very horrible and violent. I think this is one of the few though, where the justice system actually did the right thing.
Yeah. I think it was just
because for so many others in violent situations like this, the justice goes, I don't know. It's hard to say.
It really is hard to say. Yeah. Okay. All right. So then we're going to go to Pennsylvania. A shoemaker named Joseph Callinger struggled with severe mental illness, reporting that he heard commands from God alongside a floating head named Charlie, who claimed supernatural knowledge.
Okay.
And his complex web of delusions ultimately led him to commit a series of violent crimes alongside his teenage son, illustrating how the entire alternate reality can consume a person's life, because he literally like it consumed him and then to his child, or like not to his child, but like he roped his beliefs and things where his child's like, okay, yeah, let's do these crazy things.
Because if it becomes so much ingrained in your reality that you believe it's real, you do kind of grow into a position where you can manipulate and influence others by, and you're not trying to manipulate.
No,
you literally think you're doing exactly what needs to be done.
That's your belief. Yeah, you're trying to, but like a floating head named Charlie. Where did...
Right, but at the same time, all our brain is like a meat sack with electricity running through it. It can be just like any other organ in your body that can just go haywire.
Dreams, too.
Yeah.
We have the craziest ass dreams. And I'm like, where did that even come from?
We could do episodes just on our dreams.
We should start. Well, I never really fully remember them. Otherwise, we should start writing them all down, and we should just literally have a full episode of our wacky dreams.
A dream journal one? Oh, God.
So people often point to David Koresh, the leader of the Branch Davison. Oh my God.
You got this, Carrie.
I don't, but you know, the leader of the Waco, Texas crap.
Yes.
So who claimed he could unlock biblical prophecies and that he was a final prophet, while it remains heavily debated whether he genuinely believed these claims or was knowingly manipulating the followers. His, that case highlights how charismatic leadership, religious extremism, and potential mental illness can overlap in ways that are incredibly difficult to untangle. And so we often hear about the crisis, but we rarely hear about recovery. So firsthand accounts oh my God, we were doing so well.
Well, you were doing well. I started off with having 4 takes to get this
I was doing so well. Okay, so hold on. Let me just pause for a second. So anyway, we all know the Waco, Texas one. We don't even need to deep dive into that. Let me just do a disclaimer though, because I want to say that in each of these cases, as I'm reading them to you, I don't necessarily think that I'm not saying that they had a mental illness. This is just how the research is that these people had the mental illness. Do you get what I mean? Because I don't know. I don't know if these people were really seeing things that were real. So when I'm saying that they were dying,
definitively say, you could say that more than likely it is an illness or a misfiring of the brain, but yes.
Yeah, I just mean that I guess I just want to put the disclaimer. As I'm reading this is because this is what the research is saying. This person was diagnosed Correct. Or had this mental illness. Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
Okay. Anyway. Okay. So, but I guess I don't know. Do you think that he was just fully fronting? Do you think a lot of cult leaders and leaders like this fully believe in what or do you think it just depends?
I think
that's an
mostly stems from
rant, but
narcissism and gaslighting and master manipulation. I think the power feeds them. Maybe it becomes self-fulfilling where they've tricked themselves into believing it as they go, but I don't know if it starts that way. I don't know
either. I guess it just depends on the person.
Personal belief.
Yeah. Okay. So like I was trying to say a minute ago, we kind of often hear about the crisis, but we rarely hear about the recovery. So firsthand accounts from those who have recovered from religious psychosis describe the experience as waking up from a dream that felt more real than reality itself, which is so, I don't know why that's so scary to me. Well, I do know why, but one woman recalled staying awake for days and refusing food because she thought sleeping would cause her to miss God's instructions. And after treatment, she couldn't believe how convincing it all had been to her.
Because imagine if we did remember our dreams fully and they felt just as real after you woke up.
Well, okay, actually, I know we talked about this a little bit where I had to go get crystals and load up and stuff for my girl Cynthia because my dreams were bleeding into my reality. And it was getting so scary because I was remembering conversations, buying clothes, doing certain things. There was one time where I thought I wrote a whole episode for the podcast because I dreamt I sat down and wrote this whole weird thing. Gosh. So it is so scary to me. So obviously the recovery brings a unique emotional hurdle, right? Because you're kind of grieving something that you once believed or thought you had, or, was your everything. So you obviously have that profound sense of loss that comes with realizing you weren't chosen by God. but that it was just your brain misfiring, which that's got to be really hard.
Absolutely.
To really think that you were like this.
Well, and the PTSD and guilt that must come from that, right? And couple that with the fear that it could happen again.
Right. Oh my God. So fortunately, though, psychosis is highly treatable. Obviously, it can be through therapy, sometimes medication, support networks, things like that. So it's not something that can't be treated. It just kind of depends on, the level.
The right people in the right places.
Yeah. So obviously, if someone you love, begins kind of displaying any signs or anything like that, experts recommend just kind of staying calm, listening without validating or arguing against their delusion. So don't try to pretend like you know what they're talking about and validate it, but also don't argue with it because, that's not going to do anything. Either way could be a catastrophe, or validating or arguing. I don't even know. Basically, just encourage a professional evaluation, which I understand is hard. Obviously, there's like an immediate safety risk, then treat it as a medical emergency.
Right.
And like as a paranormal podcast, we spend a lot of time talking about ghosts, demons, possessions, and all that kind of stuff. And we kind of, most of the time, we're always talking about what if. So this episode is kind of like a reminder that sometimes the most important question isn't like, is it paranormal? It is that person okay? or, is it a crisis? I don't know. It's just, I don't know if the priority is proving or disproving the supernatural, or is it just like making sure we all get home safe? I don't know. There's too many mysteries in this world.
It's one of those things, right, where like if you're going to live in the world of high strange and being more open and receptive to ideas, I think at the same time, it's important to make sure you know the signs of what to look for in case somebody is having an episode. And whether you live in the high strange or not, it's always important, right? And I think you made an important claim there of don't agree, don't egg them on, but make sure that you get somebody who can handle that situation to interview, because we can't always.
Yeah.
A lot of these stories, when you're telling me it reminded me of too. Have you ever heard, there was a really in-depth Netflix documentary on them too, but Chad and Lori Daybell.
That vaguely sounds familiar, but I don't know.
Lori, and I want to say it was later in life, joined the Church of Latter-day Saints.
Okay.
And she meets Chad Daybell, who was decently popular within the church. And he wrote a bunch of books about like demons being among us, right? And she kind of gets this whole delusion of she needs to be a warrior for God to get rid of these demons hiding as humans. And they come up with a whole leveling system, like a labeling by level of people. Like they're this level demon, that level demon.
No, I've never heard of this. Oh my gosh.
Much like Andrea believes that her own children were actually demons, and it's not a great ending. I can't think of the name of the documentary on Netflix. I should look it up. I'm going to do that real quick. It is really great though, because I think it talks about a lot of these kind of points you're making.
Yeah, I mean, like I guess it's so hard too, because like I feel like you and I have been in scenarios with people where we're like, somebody should do something, and
it's called Sins of Our Mother.
Sins of Our Mother. Oh. Sounds scary.
It's a dark one for sure, but it's interesting.
Well, that's really all I have. It's just, I know that was like.
Did you find any more stories by chance, or I'm sure they were just probably short, but of the actual happenings in Jerusalem in this? I want to know more about the hotel sheets.
I didn't find anything else about the hotel sheets. Do you think they probably have to order so many extra hotel sheets just to have?
Probably.
I want to know how many sheets that they've lost.
At least a couple hundred from the sounds of it at the beginning of the episode.
I know.
This one's an interesting one though. It's a thinker, right? Because I think no matter what your beliefs are, we've all been duped into something. We've all had parts of our reality that weren't real. We've thought they've become real. And I think it kind of helps to know, while we might call some of these people, Andrea Yates is called a monster a lot, or we're all not far off from being in the same boat.
No, and also this episode isn't necessarily about religion at all. Do you get what I mean? I'm not trying to
No, this is more about how the brain works.
Correct. And everybody believe in whatever you want to believe in. That's fine. That's not really, but it's just like, it's interesting to me that a lot of the times it is like religious psychosis and things like that we hear about. That's what's kind of interesting to me, because I understand it's like what you're...
So if your brain, right, is the organ that's designed to keep you alive,
mm-hmm.
and it's right, we're fight or flight or somewhere in the middle of it. And if it's always, its wonder is to either keep you from death, right? Its biggest thing is to keep you away from death. So the human construct or and I could be wrong, the absolute truth of religion, of what comes after death, you can see where when the brain is misfiring, why it could go to religion.
Oh,
so
for
it's not
sure.
that religion is the cause of it.
Right.
It's more it's tied to the natural act of the brain.
Right. And that's why when I was saying earlier, like it seems obvious, but then it doesn't, because I've never thought about it, is that when you go into psychosis, it's not like new concepts. It's concepts that it's
the frameworks.
So that makes sense. Like if we go into psychosis, we'd probably see ghosts everywhere.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. It's just so interesting to me.
It seems like confirmation bias just comes and plays a huge part in it.
Yeah.
This is an interesting conversation.
I know. See? And I could have really, really put so much more in, but I was like, I wanted us to kind of talk more about it, because it was just getting my brain like so not worked up, but kind of like worked out, because I'm like, what is going on? Like, what?
Yeah, because you think it's like one, it can relate out to so many other things.
I know.
And then it just gets into the whole thing. Even when I was studying psychology in school, like the study of the brain is the brain studying the study of the brain.
Yes. Which is correct. That's so crazy. You know what's okay, so I wrote this episode, right? I researched this episode, I wrote it, and then I actually was going to scrap it. Because I'm like, no, it's
I'm
not.
glad you didn't.
No, I know. And I am too, because I'm kind of like, no, this isn't. And I'm like, no, it's been like just kind of on my brain I'm like, I want to get it out of my...
Ooh, good one.
All right. Well,
I feel like I'm going to think on this one for a while.
I know.
I'm going to call you at like 2 a.m. Don't worry. I'll have more thoughts.
Good. I want everyone to have thoughts, leave comments and
perfect.
Nice things.
Let us know your thoughts. Write-ins. What do we have a emoji that would go for this episode?
I don't know.
The brain.
Oh, actually, that's the perfect one.
There we go. We'll do the brain. And then do we have any special treats for our Patreon folks tonight?
We do.
Perfect. So we'll have our bonus episode going up.
We'll have, some little couple Reddit stories.
Perfect.
All right.
Well, thank you, Kara. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you sticking around after our news at the beginning here. We might be a little bit less, but we're going to have some more fun conversations and stuff too.
We still have a Patreon with bonus episodes and content. And
bonus content.
I will promise I'm getting back to it. And now with more time, I can put more time into that. So if you're not already on Patreon, come on over. There's also a free tier. We'd love to have more free tiers. You can get tarot readings from Zachary and all kinds of stuff. So you don't have to be a paid subscriber. I want to make that very clear. You do not have to pay. Just come on over. But also write in, give us your stories, because that actually is fun for us too, because then we can just sit down and have an episode where we just read your stories, and that's fun for us because
maybe we'll sneak some of those in those.
That's what I think we should do. If we get more write-ins from you guys, we can just have more episodes.
Perfect.
All right.
What else do we need to do to close the shop up for the day?
Most important thing you can do for us is to creep it real, my little oddballs.
Goodbye.
Bye.